Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Exit the Maze podcast with Dr. Donna Marks. I'm your co-host, Scott Jones. I want to thank everybody for joining us. And before we get started with the show, just a reminder, I know we say it all the time, but please, if you like this show, subscribe, share this with your friends, and certainly make sure you tune in every Wednesday at 1 o'clock. There will be exceptions coming in the future where we're not going to be on it, but we'll let you know that ahead of time. But for now, please join us. I also want to mention that there are thunderstorms in the area of the main studio today, so it's quite possible that something might get knocked out, and if it does, that is a thunderstorm, and it's not because I hit the wrong button. Just want to let everybody know that. And Donna, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. Also, we want people to share the show. It's not about you and me. We're trying to help people, and we want to get as many people tuned in as possible because addiction is such a problem. So many people don't even know they're addicted, and we want to be able to show people that it's not that hard to get unaddicted and to get some help. So please, if you've watched our videos and you like them, please share them with all your friends because we need you to help us grow, to get this message out. Thank you.
Absolutely. Well said, Donna, because we don't spend time trying to promote ourselves or, certainly we want you to know more about what Dr. Marks does and check out drdonnamarks.com and
atc.com.
And addictiontrainingcenter.com.
All those wonderful courses and information and help available right there.
And we want you guys to know this stuff. But even with with your books and with our training courses, this is all about elevating people's understanding about addiction and even a little bit about mental health, but certainly about living a better life and being happy. I mean, at the end of the day, I think, our end result of anything is for people to be happy and fulfilled, isn't it, Donna?
Absolutely. I mean, we are supposed to be happy and fulfilled. And if we're not, then we need to figure out what's blocking that and how to remove it, replace it with something that will make us happy and fulfilled.
And I think that's probably one of the toughest questions you can ask any adult these days. You ask a child, a 5-year-old, what makes you happy, they know right off the bat. Pizza, burps, boogers, they know what makes them happy. You ask an adult that question, and it's almost like you asked them for the key to the universe. Most adults don't know what makes them happy.
Right. Well, the first thing you'll hear is, what's that?
And because we spend our time chasing better cars, better jobs, more money, better clothes, because that's what society tells us. I don't want to go into some big diatribe about society's problems, but we are raised to believe that we have to reach a certain status or else we should not be happy.
We
chase those statuses.
You're 100% correct. We're conditioned to get, and to more and more and more. And so there's never, it's like searching for happiness in all the wrong places and never finding it.
And this actually creates even a larger divide between active addiction and finding recovery, because people who have used or drank or whatever your addiction happens to be, whether it's gambling or sex or whatever that has affected your life greatly, generally, all of a sudden you're in your adulthood, you're trying to make a change, and you feel so far behind the 8 ball because everyone out there is telling you that you're supposed to be this by this point. So that creates a big divide, doesn't it?
It really does, and it's very sad. You're supposed to be right where you are, and if you want to go someplace else, then get there.
And there are people that believe that. There are people that help with that, but it is not mainstream thinking. I mean, I don't know that it ever will be, because we need the keeping up with the Joneses or the have and the have-nots. We need that for some reason to keep us all feeling good about ourselves, but there are enough
but the
good
problem
people.
Is you don't feel good about yourself. You feel good for, the high. Once that wears off, you're right back even worse. And then, if you get everything you want that's supposed to make you happy and you're really unhappy, then you know that you've been looking in all the wrong places.
Yeah, a lesson that's learned sometimes a little late, but it's always you can always turn things around. That was one of the things I wanted to ask you today, and because we've been going through some questions about addiction, and you really you put things so brilliantly, and I appreciate that. Um, Sometimes there's people out there that are thinking, well, what's the point? It's too late. I'm in my 50s, I'm in my 60s. Why should I stop now? What's the point? I've already missed the best part of my life. That's an attitude that we see with a lot of older people who are dealing with addictions. That's a tough one to crack, isn't it?
Well, not really,
Not
because
really. Good. See, that's what I
today,
like about you, Donna. That's what I like about you.
the best part of your life is today because that's all you have.
Right.
So today is the perfect day to find the answer to happiness and to be happy. And it takes just a second to do that. All you have to do is say, I'm going to find out how to do this. And I'm going to remove things that are interfering with that. And I am going to be happy, especially since I'm past halfway through my life or whatever. It's not too late. It's never too late.
I love that thinking. It is never too late. And I also believe, I mean, a lot of times I miss time with my kids. I never spent time with my grandkids. Those kind of things happen. And I will argue with people that one day with your grandkids is better than 0 days with your grandkids. So if you got the opportunity, yeah, you didn't have the whole lifetime because you missed out on some things. Of course you did. But you know what? Regular people miss out on things all the time. Dad's at work when the kid says his first words, or mom is on a business trip when the kid goes to his first day of school. We miss things, but it's what you do today that really matters. And putting that focus on what you do today is really important, isn't it?
Well, absolutely. And part of being happy is to acknowledge what you haven't done or what you've done wrong or whatever. Not in a way that's self-defeating, but if you haven't been the grandparent that you'd like to be, to acknowledge that and to explain why. Usually it's because you had to work and you were overwhelmed as a grandparent. People aren't retiring like they used to at 60 years old or 62. They have to keep working to pay their bills, or they want to keep working because they're like, we have a mission and a purpose here, so we're working.
Yeah.
It's not that you don't love your grandchildren or your children, you just don't have as much time available as when people used to be able to afford to retire or did retire when they were 60 years old, because the average lifespan was 67, 70 years old. Now it's in the 90s. So there's just so many reasons why we're working. The other thing is, you might not know how to relate to children because you were never a child. You didn't have a childhood. And so learning how to do that is not natural. And so that's a part of acknowledging to your children. And if your grandchildren are old enough, say, I want to do better. I want to spend more time. Let's figure out things that we can do that we can enjoy together. I want to spend time with you. I'm not maybe ever going to be the kind of grandparent that's in the books with the muffins and the apron and the baseball bat and the glove, but I can do something, and I do love you, and I do want to be with you, and I do want to spend time with you, and I do want to be a part of your life.
That is
Come
excellent.
over, I need to show them how to make those peppers you talked about last week.
Oh, the shishito peppers. I made them for my mother the other day. I had her over for dinner, spending time with my family, and she loved them. And I added white truffle oil to them, and it really just finished them off really well.
Oh, nice.
Anyway, you said something, and I don't want to miss this point because this is very, very interesting. You said something about we didn't experience like a regular childhood or even teenage years or that beginning of adulthood, which is just as important as a childhood, that age between 18 and 25 when you become your adult self and figure out who you're going to be and what you're doing. Some people do that in college. Some people do it through their jobs, but you
Some
find
people
things
never
out.
do it.
Some people never do it. But there's a lot of people with addictions and stuff who never go through those processes. They get stuck. And I know there's been a kind of a common line of thought that says, you kind of, from the time your addiction starts until it ends, you don't grow emotionally or anything. I mean, I don't know how accurate that is, but there is a huge gap so that when you do get back into life and you find recovery, which we pray everyone does. There's kind of a start over point. You got to kind of figure out who you are where you could have done that years ago. How do you deal? That's a monumental task for somebody who missed out on 20 or 30 years of their life.
Well, it doesn't have to be monumental. If you're addicted, one of the things I say in my book is convert your addiction into a career, because it's a subject you know a lot of things about. And so
that doesn't mean become a dealer, people. That's not what she's saying.
No, but if you're a dealer, you're a business person. So start a business that's legitimate. If
you are a salesman.
If you're into drugs, you're a pharmacist. So, there's lots of capacities of careers in pharmaceuticals that are legitimate. If you're a food addict, you know a lot about food. Convert that into the nutritional aspects and making recipes and writing cookbooks or opening a restaurant. Whatever you're doing wrong can be converted into doing it right and fulfilling your purpose here.
Absolutely. Okay, we got our friend Debbie is with us. She's saying hi, Scott and Donna.
Hi.
And she's also sharing Debbie Bettendorf, who has our show on Wednesday nights called Find It. She said today is the day. Yes, absolutely, Debbie. Today is the day. It's the only day we got to work with. So,
right.
That's important. You mentioned food. There seems to be like a little bit of a hierarchy of dangerous addictions, I think, or addictions that are more serious and some that people don't take quite as seriously. I used to be guilty of that, Donna, because I used to think of myself, because I consider myself an alcoholic because that was my drug of choice. I really didn't like drugs. I didn't like other drugs. I tried every one of them. I tried every one of them. I mean, I've done heroin, I've done coke, and I didn't like any of them because for me, my body chemistry aligned perfectly with alcohol, and it did everything for me. The only time I needed drugs was so that I could wake up after drinking too much alcohol.
It made you think that it did everything for you.
Yes, but I mean, are there addictions that are worse than others? Or, I mean, every one of them could be completely devastating, even things that people don't think are as serious, like sex or food, right?
Right. Well, food is definitely the number one. Bad food is the number one cause of most major medical illnesses, along with drugs and alcohol and tobacco, of course, nicotine. Especially, those are the major causes of almost all deaths, unnatural causes. And so that's a great percentage of deaths are due to addiction if you break it down. So yes, but even some of the more innocuous ones, what is a person doing to their mental health? That can be deadly too, through relationships, through sex addiction, through all of the other, gambling, or some of these other more that seem less severe because it's not immediate. STDs, some of them are deadly. If you keep doing the same things that make you feel worse and worse about yourself, and you keep having family traumas and relationship traumas indirectly related to those addictions, it wears you down. It takes a perfectly mentally and emotionally and physically healthy person, wears you down into a tired, depleted adult. So they're all deadly.
Absolutely. And if anybody out there has addictions and you've been looking at other addictions as not being the same, just I have to equate that. I have to think about how I felt about alcohol was so unhealthy and it was so overpowering. And so it's hard for me to equate feeling that way about anything else, but a person in a different addiction feels that way about their thing, whether it is food or gambling or sex or shopping or spending or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
I have to give a shout out here. Celeste is with us. Celeste, thank you for joining us. Debbie, I got to tell you, Celeste is a new friend in recovery. And she's one of those people that you could see right from the beginning. She walks into a room and a light precedes her. She's got that spirit.
Oh,
and
beautiful.
So,
yay.
Celeste, I I love you, and that me and we're all here for you. But keep going, girl, because that light should not be put out.
Right. And it's important to remember when you share a lot of light that not everybody, I think Denzel Washington said sometimes your light can intimidate people whose light is an honor. I can't remember how it was worded, but it was so good. Like, don't let it frighten you that not everybody has that same light that they're sharing, and stick with people like Scott who do. The support system is so important, so important.
And she said, thanks for the shout out. All right. Excellent. I was going to go somewhere with our next thing, and I got lost in the conversation. But
you can't be lost. Just whatever comes to mind.
Whatever comes to mind. That's kind of how we flow for people. So if you've got a question, if you're listening, if you've got a question about addiction or addiction recovery, please let us know. I know what I was going to say, because we were talking about all these different addiction pathways, all these different pathways people could take. Most people are usually addicted to more than one thing at a time, but not everybody is. I mean, there's people out there saying, well, if you're addicted to this, you're addicted to everything. And it doesn't mean this is the case, but it's really easy to slide into other addictive behaviors when you leave another one behind. And that is something that people have to be very aware of. I know that with me, I went from drinking and getting sober to spending a lot of money and becoming almost addicted to. I had to feel like I had to shop every day. I had to buy things. I had to constantly, and I don't know if that was a full addiction or just picked up an addictive behavior. But that happens a lot. We see that a lot with people, don't we, Donna?
That's why in my book, I say there's only one addiction, and it's that invisible hole. And so if you take one thing away, that alcohol, then that hole is going, what now? What now? What now? And so, okay, shopping, or sometimes people get addicted to recovery. They just get overdosed on going to meetings and telling everybody and da-da. And then once the high of that wears off, then what? Then they maybe start having sexual addictive relationships, or codependent addictive relationships, or whatever the case may be. It just are working, and not going to meetings anymore. I mean, it's just never ending. For me, I stopped drinking. Then I stopped smoking, and I wanted to be sure I didn't overeat. So I started addictively exercising, and it just went. I talk about it in the book. It just went on and on and on and on and on, and I was never really well. And recovery is about being happy. It isn't just about being sober. It's about being happy.
And in finding some resemblance of balance, I think, too. Like you said, where, because I'm in recovery doesn't mean I could spend 24 hours a day in a meeting. I have to go out there and start applying it in life and doing things.
Absolutely.
And finding that balance can be a little bit scary because we're so used to throwing ourselves all into one thing. And so trying to spread
all
out
or nothing.
Yeah. Kind of sitting in the middle. I mean, I remember, I knew what moderation was. It was that blurry line that I saw when I was running between extremes, but I never, I never stopped at it. As we talked about, I'm dieting now and I'm doing different things, but I had to change my mindset from.
You're not dieting. You're eating healthy.
I'm changing my eating habits.
And the weight is coming off.
I'm creating healthy habits, and it feels good.
Self-love.
But my mindset had to be, I'm not restricting, or I'm not taking things away from myself. I'm simply balancing them out so that I feel better while I'm cooking, while I'm eating, and after I eat.
You're giving yourself love. You're taking the time to buy the food. You're taking the time to prepare the food. You're enjoying these delicious recipes. You're sharing them with other people. That is so much more loving and healthy than going for that quick fix, food that isn't good for you, that stacks on the pounds and bogs you down and depresses you.
Yeah.
And makes your joints hurt.
And it's like the people, I mean, it's like, Oh, well, you know what? I slipped and I had I had a cookie the other day. Does that mean I got to eat the whole box now? Because, well, as long as I've screwed up, I might as well just eat the whole box. When I'm talking about balance, I'm saying that sometimes we go a little bit this way, sometimes we got to bring ourselves back to the middle, and then we could go a little bit the other way. But if I try to be so far, I'm going to do extreme eating. It's so much pressure. So I just enjoy kind of sitting in the middle now and finding that balance. And the amazing thing is, I'm happy when I do that.
And you've lost some weight.
I've lost weight. Definitely lost weight.
How much?
I don't weigh myself.
Okay. Your pants are
two notches on my belt. Two notches on my belt. Yes.
Whoa.
And so that's probably 3/4 of an inch off my waist in a few weeks. So
and has anybody noticed?
Oh yeah. People notice, especially in my face. My face looks thinner. Apparently,
yes.
I guess for a while I had a fat face, which I was not aware of.
Well, when we're not eating healthy, we're bloated. There's fluids and our system, our organs are overloaded, so we can't really detox all the fluids and improper toxins and stuff like that. So,
and my arthritis has improved. Just changing my diet and starting it so it's not as puffy as it was, and my arthritis has improved. I mean, it's never going to completely go away, I'm sure, because I got a family history.
It might. It might if you discover ways to heal it. Don't program yourself that it won't go away.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Don't limit myself.
Here's the thing. You could have gone to the doctor. I don't know if you did or not. Here's medicine for your arthritis that has side effects. Here's medicine for your fluid retention that has side effects. Here's for your sluggishness. Here's another. You could be on 5-6 prescriptions that are all toxic to your system. No. And you're still not feeling any different because the toxic foods are still going in your system. So just by caring enough about Scott to nourish himself with the things that the body are designed for. Real food. Real
food, vitamins, aminos, and minerals that already exist in my body, and I have to have a little extra magnesium because I'm magnesium deficient and I cramp up and things like that. But when I have that, I'm fine. When I have certain things, and you learn about those things. The problem is, Donna, unfortunately, in the medical world, and we've talked about this before, but I love bringing it up because it upsets me so much. You go to a doctor and you could sit in a waiting room for an hour and a half because they're never on time. And then you go in and the nurse will
I'm gone.
The nurse will spend 20 minutes with you. The doctor come in and spend 4 minutes with you and then write you a prescription because a pill is the answer to everything.
Absolutely.
And that is why I'm going to tell you right now, we are the number one country in the world for prescription drug abuse. Number one country in the world. Mm-hmm. And all the other countries are looking at us. Why do you think? I mean, other countries could have fentanyl flowing through it, but nobody's dying from it in the way they're dying here because we are so used to just popping pills. And that is just our culture. You got a headache, take a pill. You want to lose weight, take a pill. You want energy, take a pill. You can't sleep, take a pill. And we all fall right into it.
You want to lose weight, take a pill.
Yes. Yes. And if they had the right one, I would do it. But there is no right one out there. Because if you go to Walmart or vitamin store anywhere and you look at the weight loss section, there's not one of them up there that doesn't say these statements are not proven by FDA or whatever. They're all just snake oil. It's snake oil.
They're all a way to make money.
And weight is about how you eat, how you treat your body, a little bit of exercise, a little. That's what it is. It's not a magic formula. As long as we keep looking for magic formulas, we're basically feeding the addiction idea of a pill makes everything better.
Quick fix.
Yes. Yeah. How do we? I mean, do you see any way out of this?
Substituting eating whatever we want, whenever we want, in an addictive way with the quick fix, which is a quick fix with the quick fix pill. And then the minute you stop the pill or the program, what happens? You haven't changed a thing. You're still not loving yourself. You're still not caring enough about your body to nourish it in the proper way. And you gain it all back. And you feel worse and more hopeless and more helpless. And then you say, I'm never going to change. I just can't do it.
So I mean, it's a lot more listening to the inside of what's going on inside of you instead of the TV ads and everybody else. Celeste is adding something. As an addict, it is hard to moderate anything. Yes, I agree. This is a great topic. Donna, I love how you reframe things. And she says, I look great. Thank you.
Thank you, Celeste.
I appreciate that.
We really appreciate all of you who write in and ask questions. It's so important. This is a we program, not us. It's not Scott and Donna. It's we, us.
No, it's us. And we just have, Donna and I have our own experiences. God knows what you and I did not walk the same road. We do not live, our lives are very dissimilar. I mean, but we have a common goal, and the common goal is self-improvement. Not the got to go pay a guru to teach me how to self-improve, but self-improvement through being aware of self and loving yourself.
Absolutely.
And not destroying ourselves.
And love is an action word, and you took action. You took action and said, I'm not going to continue to do this anymore. I'm now going to do this. I'm going to take care of myself. I'm going to decide what I'm going to nourish my body with. I'm going to get excited about it. I'm going to turn it into a hobby. And consequently, you're just getting healthier every moment of every day.
And there's so many different ways to love yourself. I don't want everybody to think you've got to sit in the corner and hug yourself and chant something. It's, if you want to, hey, go for it. It's your world. But this is, everything you do is based on how you feel about yourself. Donna, you're writing books, is putting pen to paper and believing in your own word is a form of self-love. It's believing in yourself and doing that. A lot of times people want to try something, but they don't do it because they don't believe in themselves. And when you don't believe in something, it's hard to love that thing, right?
Well, it's kind of like, if I want to learn how to play tennis, if I don't believe I can do it, then I won't. But if I believe I can, then I go get lessons on how to play tennis. And I may not be, on the circuit, but I'm definitely playing tennis. So that's the key. If you don't know how to do something, learn how. Be taught how. And that's part of the problem with people who have addictions anyhow, that addiction has consumed them, whereas they used to consume the addiction or engage in the addiction. Now the addiction has them in the maze and is consuming them. So we've got to be willing to break out of that.
I really get excited when I hear somebody say, "Oh, I'm going to try this. I'm going to go out and do this. I've always wanted to do this. I think I'm going to do it." I get so excited when I see people do that, because that is faith in yourself. And it doesn't mean, I don't want anybody to believe that just because you want to play tennis that you're going to be Arthur Ashe. And if anybody doesn't know who that is, I know it's an old reference, but I don't know any new tennis players. Bjorn Borg. Is Bjorn Borg new?
Serena Williams.
Serena Williams. There we go. Not everybody's going to be Serena Williams, but if it's worth doing, it's worth doing moderately or badly or whatever it is. I play golf not because I'm ever going to beat Tiger Woods, but because I enjoy it. And I enjoy it just as much when I hit it into the woods as when I hit it onto the green. I just happen to do the woods a whole lot more than anything else.
But you're getting out there in the fresh air, getting some exercise. It's a personal challenge, and it's good.
Exactly. I play guitar and sing. I'm never going to be Jimi Hendrix on the guitar. I'm never going to be Neil Diamond with my voice. I mean, it's just, that's never going to happen. The only thing I could be is Scott on a guitar and Scott with my voice. And you know what? It's for me. It's for me. If other people enjoy it, that's a bonus to me. But if I enjoy it, that's a win, no matter what. Right?
Absolutely. That's the key, is replacing addictions with things that you enjoy, because your addiction drains you of your energy. So you want to drain your addiction of its energy. And the only way to do that is to replace it with something that you enjoy.
Oh my, what a great statement. You need something to replace. If people, there's a lot of people that try to their whole focus is on not drinking and not using. That's not enough, is it? You can't leave that kind of void.
Absolutely. because then it's just going to be a heat-seeking device for another form of addiction.
That's where we see these other addictions pop up. If you don't choose something healthy to put in the place of the unhealthy, then we're going to either go back to what we know or look for a quick fix. And quick fixes are rarely healthy things. There are some that might be a healthy thing, but really, if it's a quick fix, rarely is it a healthy idea.
I don't know of any quick fixes that are good for you unless it's a hot bubble bath or walk on the beach.
Exactly.
Painting or playing your guitar.
There we go. Celeste is adding in, and I know she works with supplements and stuff in her career. There are supplements that are wonderful for you. Take probiotics, for example. Yes, absolutely. They're fantastic for the body, but the FDA allows very limited health claims to be used on the packaging. That is one pill. So probiotics are one thing that is actually good for you, and we agree with that because you got to have a healthy gut to have a healthy body and healthy brain.
Yes, you can also research foods that are high in probiotics too.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. If you can't use vitamins and supplements to knock out, eating 7 slices of pizza, a bag of Doritos, and drinking a Coca-Cola and expect, but I took my one a day, so I should be fine.
Exactly. And that's the insanity of getting all these prescriptions too, because you haven't changed the cause of the behavior, mental health or physical problem. And if you don't change the cause, then you're just covering it up with, what do they say? You can't put lipstick on a pig. I mean, it just, it just covers up the problem. The problem is still there.
It's like taking your car to the mechanic and saying it's making a horrible knocking noise, and the mechanic just pouring grease all over the engine so it wouldn't knock anymore, but the problem is not gone. That's what pills do. Pills,
that's a great example.
They take away the symptomology, but they don't take away the problem.
Right.
So I'm not having a migraine anymore, but the reason that those migraines come up has not been solved. Absolutely. So as soon as that pill wears off, and the truth is, the longer we take pills to cover things, the worse the problem can get because we're only covering symptomology. We're not covering cause. And that's important to have a healthy lifestyle, is to look at causes of problems, not just the symptomologies, right?
Absolutely. If we don't address causes, then we're really stuck in the maze. And, that could even be a pill maze, prescription drug maze, whether it's narcotics or not. It's still a form of the maze, and we're still engaging in the same exact behaviors without a real solution.
A lot of this comes down to, maybe this sounds a little hard-ass, and it's probably not the way you would put it, but, we express ourselves differently, and that's what makes this work.
Yes.
Is that if you don't work for it and if you don't put effort into it, it's not something that's worthwhile. I'm not saying work hard. I'm saying put effort in. Even the love of my children, I have to be present. I have to be there. I have to put effort into that love for that love to have meaning for me. Everyone who looks for these quick fixes, the one shots, the take a drink, take a pill, do a drug, whatever, to change how they're feeling, you're not changing anything. You're just covering it up. Without effort and work and certainly awareness, nothing can change. At least that's how I put it. I don't know how you would put it.
Well, maintaining an addiction is a lot of work, because by the time you're addicted, you're sneaking, you're lying, you're hurting other people, you're hurting yourself. You have to maneuver, you have to manipulate, you have to remember what you said, you have to come up with the money again and again and again and again. You have to figure out how to pay your debt. You have to figure out how to recover from losses. I mean, it just is a lot of work.
Very true.
And so if you just stop that amount of work and apply a tenth of that to self-love, it's so easy to just be happy. And I think that's how we started off the program.
That's how we started off the program. And we've already gone through 35 minutes, believe it or not.
Whoa.
Yeah, I know. When we get going, we start flowing and everything works. We try to keep this, between 30 and 45 minutes because we know, you guys are busy. It's a Wednesday afternoon. I appreciate the people who join us. And we would love to know what you think. too. So you can reach out to us, certainly on our Facebook pages. Donna Marks Facebook page, Dr. Donna Marks, is easy to get to. My page, Scott Jones, is easy to get to. And certainly you can also reach out to us through our websites, drdonnamarks.com and addictiontrainingcenter.com. And if there's something you want to talk about, or if you want to be a guest on our show, you could be a guest because you have some expertise in an area. You could be a guest because you have lived through an addiction and found recovery. You could be a guest, whatever you think you could bring to the table. I mean, we're certainly willing to talk about it. After the years that Don and I both spent doing our jobs and different things, not much scares us. So go ahead and bring it. I shouldn't say that because then one day I will get scared.
Everything you ever wanted to ask and were afraid to. Here's the time to do it.
Yes, absolutely. This is my friend Bob Donnell, who is the author of the book Your Next Level Now, and he does a lot of great programs helping people to reach their potential. He's saying thanks for all you guys do.
And that's great. That would be a good book for someone who thinks it's too late.
Yes.
There you go. It's never too late as long as it's now.
You know what? Maybe Bob would be the kind of guest we could invite, that kind of thing where it's like, what now? You're kind of, in a way, it's like, okay, you're starting from square one, but it's not necessarily square one, but it feels like it. And how do you start leveling yourself up to get where you want to be? But make sure whatever you're reaching for, make sure it's something that you really want in your life. Don't reach for it because everybody else is reaching for it. Reach for it because it's something that you want in your life.
It's your dream.
It's your exactly.
And don't let anybody tell you it's not. So many people are misguided through people who love them. Oh, you don't want to do that, or it's too hard to succeed at that, or what are you thinking? I mean, I remember when I was writing my books, it was like, people were like, and even when I went into some of the marketing forums, it's like, oh, you're going to be a minnow in a pond with, millions of other minnows, and the sharks come along, and I'm like, whoa, so negative. And we have to hold on to our dream, because you came into the world with a dream, you have a mission, and don't worry about how successful it is. Just do it. And let the universe take care of the rest. And it will. And you just sit there and enjoy what you're doing, and success will come to you. It just cannot not come to you, even if it's your own personal sense of success. You are accomplishing things that you're set out to do. And it doesn't matter how many people are doing it. It doesn't matter what the naysayers say. In fact, one of the most wonderful examples I ever heard was some guy designed some kind of art thing, and I wish I could remember. It was one of those things I caught on the news at the last minute, and he presented it to someone to market it and to put it in out for display. It was like a $3 million art object. That's what he valued it as. And the person who was deciding whether or not to commission it said, "I don't get it. I just don't get it. I don't get it." And so he didn't let that discourage him at all. He succeeded, and he got his $3 million. And then other people were placing orders for other objects of his art. And he went back to the guy and said, "Do you get it now?" The only person that has to get it is you.
That's right.
And to know that this is your passion. And
that's
even
right.
If that one isn't the thing. I mean, I wrote lots of things and pamphlets and stuff before I won a book I wrote a book that won 25 awards and is now revised. And actually it's for pre-sale. I pre-order on Amazon and on my website, but I just knew, I didn't even care what happened. I just knew I was fulfilling my mission. And that's all we need to know, that we have the desire and it's there for a reason.
Absolutely.
And you don't have to have anybody else believe in your vision but yourself.
Absolutely. I love that story about the art.
Yeah. Do you get it now?
The musician, when you think about it, and I love music, I'm passionate about music, and the people who succeed in music are people who write music from their hearts. There's plenty of people out there trying to write a hit, but it's the ones who write music that speaks to their heart and then lets it out, and then other people connect with it. Those are the ones that become hits. If you're just writing music to become a hit, basically what you're writing is commercial jingles, and it's not the same thing. So write from your heart, speak from your heart, act from your heart. And you know what? At the end of the day, you could get home and say, I didn't meet one person out there that understood me today, but I get me. And that's a beautiful thing.
And the greatest artists, whether it's music or physical form, sculpting, painting, whatever, poets, writers, they have sublimated, they have converted their pain into beauty.
Yes.
They have converted their pain into beauty. And so that's what we can all do in terms of converting pain into love. Because love and beauty, I think it was Keats that said, truth is beauty, beauty, truth. That is all you need to know on earth and all you need to know. Well, that's a little heavier than we normally go, but
no, that's good. That's good. People are going to be Googling that later so they can put it on their wall. Tim is saying,
all of your life is for a reason, and converting all that into something beautiful for yourself. That's happiness.
Yes. Tim Roberto just said, stop flipping other people's pages over. Yeah. Don't worry about other people's books. Don't turn their pages. Worry about yours. And know that you're the author of your story.
Your own pages, yeah.
You are the author of your story. Your pen is in your hand. The next chapter is up to you. Every one of you out there. The next chapter is up to you. In spite of what the chapter before said, you can write a new chapter, and that's all that matters. A lot of books I've read in my life that I think are brilliant started out awful slow, and I didn't think I'd ever get through them. And then somewhere along the lines, it changed and it became important, and I loved the book. Well, your story could be that way. Maybe it wasn't your ideal start. Maybe you didn't have the greatest family, or you didn't have the love that you needed as a child. But you know what? This chapter that you're writing today, as you sit down to do your story, which is live your life, it's entirely up to you. It's entirely up to you. Don't let other people turn your pages. Absolutely not. Addiction did that enough. If you didn't spend enough time under the heel of addiction making its decisions for you, then I don't know what to tell you. I mean, now's the time for you to take control, write the story you want to write, and be the person you want to be. It's so freeing. It is so absolutely freaking freeing. It's hard to even explain in words. You have to experience it. And please try.
Well, it's wonderful watching you experience it. That's for sure.
I'm having such a good time.
Yeah.
I want to thank, listen, Donna, it's been great. It's amazing how fast these things go. I'm pretty convinced that if we do not have a clock, we could probably go 2 hours and not realize it. But we do have a clock, and we're going to try to respect that clock today. So we're going to be signing off, and we'll be here next week with more Exit the Maze podcast. That's Wednesdays at 1:00. Please reach out to us. Let us know what you think, and share this show with your friends. Maybe there's something in here that we could say, or something that they might hear that might spark some thought for them. Maybe it's just information, or maybe it's just entertainment, because we do chuckle a little bit too. So,
and we definitely want those questions.
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. If you don't want to go on the air with us, all you got to do is write in the comments. Whenever you're watching us live, write in the comments, and we'll see it live. If you want to send questions ahead of time, please just go to our websites. Our emails are on there. Email us the questions, or you can certainly let us know on our web pages or our Facebook pages, and we'll get back to you on those. Donna, for now, I hope you have a nice week planned for yourself.
And you too.
I certainly do. I'm going to go out and hear some music tonight, which is always
wonderful.
A blast.
Beautiful.
Always a blast with sober people, which is always a lot of fun too.
Yes, it is.
Yes. But for now, I want to thank everybody for joining us. For Dr. Donna Marks, I'm Scott Jones, saying please take care of yourself. Do something kind for someone else. Do 2 kind things for yourself today, and you're most likely going to have a pretty good day if you follow that.
Thank you so much.
Take care.